Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about one of the coolest things you can do with your Tezos, and that's actually putting it to work for you. We are going to completely demystify this process called baking and show you exactly how you can start earning more XTZ with the Tezos you already have. So let me just ask you this. Right now, is your Tezos, your XTZ, just kind of sitting there in a wallet, doing nothing? If the answer is yes, then honestly, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to not only support the network, but to earn some passive rewards while you're at it. So yeah, let's fix that. And the way we fix it is through a process called Tezos baking. At its core, baking is literally what keeps the Tezos network alive and secure. It's all about validating transactions and creating new blocks on the chain. But here's the best part. The network actually pays people with brand new XTZ to participate in this process. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with what baking even is, then we'll walk through the 3 different ways you can jump in. Think of it like easy, medium, and hard modes. Then we'll cover the rules and risks you absolutely need to know, and wrap it all up with how you can make your very first move. So what is actually happening here? Well, the key players are called bakers. These are the validators of the Tezos network. They're the ones proposing new blocks of transactions and giving them the thumbs up, making sure everything is legit. You can really think of them as the guardians of the entire Tezos ledger. And here's the really cool part. You do not have to be some kind of tech wizard to get involved. The network is designed to give you 3 different paths to choose from. You can delegate, you can stake, or you can go all in and become a baker yourself. Each one has a totally different mix of risk, reward, and how much effort you got to put in. Let's start with what I like to call easy mode, delegation. This is, hands down, the perfect starting point for pretty much anyone who's new to this or just wants to earn rewards without any of the technical headaches. So how does this work? It's actually beautifully simple. First, and this is so important, your XTZ never, ever leaves your wallet. You always have full control. All you're doing is pointing your baking rights to a professional baker. They're the ones running the servers and doing all the heavy lifting. In return for their service, you get rewards and just pay them a small fee out of those earnings. And this right here is why delegation is so popular. Your risk is basically 0. You can't get slashed, which is a penalty we'll talk about later. The absolute worst thing that could happen is that your baker messes up and you just miss out on a few rewards for a little while. It's an incredible deal, almost no risk for a nice, steady, passive income in XTZ. All right, you ready to level up? Let's talk about the next step up, which is staking. This is for folks who are feeling a little more comfortable and are willing to take on a tiny bit more responsibility to get even better returns. So why would you stake instead of just delegating? Well, this chart says it all. The potential rewards from staking are significantly higher. We're talking roughly double. And the reason for that big jump is because by staking, you're putting more skin in the game. You're providing a stronger security promise to the network, and the protocol rewards you for it. Okay, so what's the catch? It really comes down to 2 big trade-offs. First, when you stake, your XTZ gets temporarily frozen by the network for a short period. Second, and this is the big one, you now have what's called slashing risk. If your baker misbehaves, you could actually lose a portion of your staked funds. It's that classic crypto dynamic. With higher potential reward comes higher risk. And now for the final boss level, pro mode. This is for the true Tezos pros out there, the ones with the technical chops and the capital to run their own whole baking operation. This is where you get the most control, but also the most responsibility. Yeah, running a baker is no joke. It is a serious commitment. You need a minimum of 6,000 XTZ just to get in the game. You need to run a Tezos node and all the software 24/7 without fail. You have to lock up your own money as a self-bond, and you're now on the hook for slashing risk, not just for yourself, but for anyone who stakes with you. Okay, so no matter which path you choose, delegating, staking, or baking, there are a few key terms you just have to understand. Knowing these is what separates the smart players from the ones who get into trouble. So let's run through a quick glossary. First up is the cycle. You can think of this as the heartbeat of the Tezos network. It's the unit of time for everything from rewards to lockups. And here's the huge news. A cycle is now just 1 day long. This is a massive update that's made the entire network way faster and more user-friendly. We've thrown this word around a lot, so let's lock it in. Slashing is the big one, the penalty you really want to avoid. It happens if a baker does something malicious, and as a punishment, the network destroys a portion of their staked funds and their stakers' funds. But let me say it again. Delegated funds are not at risk of slashing. Only staked funds are. Now here's another thing to watch out for, especially when you're choosing who to stake with. Overstaking. See, every baker has a certain capacity. If they get too popular and too many people stake with them, they become overstaked, and the rewards for everybody can actually go down. So you want to pick a baker who's managing their size responsibly. And finally, if you do decide to stake, you need to know how unstaking works. Your funds don't just come back instantly. When you decide you want your XTZ back, there's a waiting period of about 4 cycles, which now means about 4 days before your funds are fully unfrozen and back in your control. Phew, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's pull it all together and talk about what really matters, your first move. How do you take all this info and actually do something with it, like today? Honestly, this table is the ultimate cheat sheet. It puts everything side by side so you can figure out what's right for you. If you want the lowest risk and lowest effort, delegation is your answer, no question. If you want to juice your rewards and you're cool with a little risk and a lockup period, then staking is your move. And if you're a tech pro ready for a challenge, well, baking is waiting for you. For absolutely everyone starting out, here is your super simple 4-step checklist. 1. Get yourself a good wallet like Temple or Kukai. 2. Do a little homework and choose a baker. Sites like Baking Bad are amazing for checking their stats and fees. 3. Just do it. Delegate your XTZ. It is the simplest and safest first step. And 4, use a block explorer like TZKT to watch your rewards start rolling in. Look, if there is only one thing you take away from all this, let it be this right here. Don't overthink it. Just start by delegating. It's safe, it's easy, it works. Once you get the hang of it and you feel comfortable, you can always make the decision later to level up to staking and boost those rewards. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire playing field from easy mode to pro mode. You now know the rules of the game. You know the risks and the rewards. The only real question left is, which mode are you going to choose to play?